right over the Gulf. It's absolutely fantastic. Thank you, Margaret. Good luck to you in the future.
Thank you, Ard.
Okay.
Bye-bye now.
All right. Well, of course, now some parts of the Gulf Coast still have a long ways to go, as you just heard from Margaret Califf. But life for at least a handful of residents of one Mississippi town is a lot better now than it was just weeks ago. They've moved out of their trailers and they're back into their homes. Our AFR correspondent Jam Sardar with this update, and it's because of the work of a few dozen helping hands.
Winter break is over for students at the Williamson Free School of Mechanical Trades. So it's back to work, sawing, sanding, and learning about the finer points of carpentry and construction. But for 44 of these students, the work never really stopped. While others their age went down south for some fun in the sun, these young men went to do a good deed. Rebuilding Bay St. Louis, Mississippi, a city still in need of a major makeover a year and a half after Hurricane Katrina.
I was kind of in shock at how many homes were destroyed and how buildings were just ripped completely in half.
The devastation down there was ridiculous. I never thought I could imagine seeing something that bad down there.
All that destruction means there's still a lot of work to do, fixing up homes for people like Kathleen Van Dyke. She's lived in a FEMA trailer for more than a year and could only watch in wonder as these builders in training put her house back together again.
The Lord has blessed me with every one of these guys. My house is totally remodeled. It's 190% better than it was already, and it's just going to be beautiful.
Williamson is very strong on community service, and we always try and take the skills that they've learned and give back to the community as much as possible. And of all the communities in this country, that's the one area of the country that needs help more than anybody else.
It wasn't easy. After 12 to 16 hours of drilling and drywalling, the students would head home to camp out in tents. But they say they wouldn't dream of spending their break any other way. Because all that experience in Mississippi taught them lessons hard to come by in the friendly confines of their shop in Pennsylvania.
When it's hands-on, I think you learn a little bit more. You get to see how, every wall is not completely square. Everything's not exactly how you plan it to be. So you have to learn how to work around it.
I learned probably more in 1 week than I could in a whole month with a shop, just because of all of the things that you encounter that you can't really create here in a shop.
These students ended up getting even more than they bargained for, because they didn't just spend their break rebuilding homes, they spent it rebuilding lives.
The biggest thing is, how do you thank them? There's no way I could ever thank them. How do you thank a man that does this for someone he doesn't even know? So I'm very blessed.
But these builders of the future say the experience and the smiles are all the thanks they need.
I could be sitting at home getting gifts from everybody and just sitting around on my butt pretty much not doing anything, where I could go down and give somebody a house back. That's a better feeling than anything else.
I tell you, you can't overstate this, that the people down there throughout that region need all the help that they can get, and thanks to volunteers like that, they're getting that help. Seems like those students, though, were touched in many ways by this, Jim.
Absolutely, unexpectedly. I think after a year and a half after the Katrina, they didn't expect it, and probably a lot of Americans don't expect it to look much the same. They expect a lot of progress has been made and were really shocked by what they saw when they went down there. And of course, they get the benefit of, the experience of actually working on a home and building it, but it was meeting the people there, seeing the people they helped, and how it just changed their whole life that really was the unexpected payment.
And they were in Bay St. Louis, and if you know the geography of that land down there, there's Bay St. Louis, there's Waveland, there's Pass Christian, there's so many areas just through that area there. How did they choose Bay St. Louis? I mean, not that the Bay St. Louis was less lacking, no more lacking than anywhere else.
It's one area that they've been working on for quite a while. This is actually the second trip that the students from Williamson have made down there. They teamed up with a group called City Year, who helped kind of make the housing arrangements, the tents and so forth that they stayed when they were down there. Since they went down there about a year ago, they decided to revisit that same area.
Are they going back? Do they plan to continue to go back and continue to help?
The students we talked to say they would love to go back. It's a question of funding, though. The money for the travel and all of the stuff that they used to build the house came from the school. It cost them about $15,000, $20,000. If they can get the money, if people would like to donate, and we have some information we can put up on the screen for the school's website, they'd love to do it again. Absolutely.
Okay, and it's up right now, www.williamson.edu. One final question here. I understand they took 50 people down with them to help out, but they came back with 51. I'm curious, how did that happen?
They had 44 students and 6 chaperones to help them out. And while they were down there, they found a little puppy that they decided to bring back with them. Her name is Southern Belle, and that is her.
That's
what a cutie,
says,
huh?
all together.
Absolutely. So she is, that's one of the workers there. So they drove her back. She didn't take the plane, and she is a former resident now of Mississippi and the newest resident of Pennsylvania.
Southern Belle, and that was another story that was lost down there. All the displaced animals that lost their homeowners.
This is a puppy that didn't have anything or anyone and was stealing cat food from cats that were outside, and that's why they were able to give her a good home.
Looks like Southern Belle's going to be just fine now.
Absolutely.
All right, thanks, Jim. That's a good update. All right, as we continue, you know, the White House is concerned that not enough people know that the economy has been doing quite well. So the president is now taking that message to the people. White House insider April Ryan will tell us all about that when she comes up with her report momentarily. Also, the frigid weather we're having is wreaking havoc on your skin. We've got some skin solutions still to come with Janet and All About You. Plus, for many folks, the perfect way to kickstart the morning is by grabbing a cup of coffee and a donut. But what if you could combine the two? We've got the buzz on this in a moment.
You're watching Art Fennell Reports. We'll be right back.